Yes, job people, this is Michael Shamaya representing. I will say, hear the lion voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
And the British realize now, say, there's no king in England, and this man coming here, and him is a danger. They separated the black militants in London, and they pick out 5 of the main ones, and the huge crowd at the train station where you see the crowd around, and when they come down the gangplank. Remember those pictures where Haile Selassie come down the gangplank?
Yes, famous pictures.
The huge, and coming off of the train, the huge crowd in England and London, they separate 5 of the leaders of the black community and separate out Marcus Garvey out of those 5. Carry them into a railway car and introduce to Haile Selassie and isolate Marcus Garvey from Haile Selassie, who was in contact with Haile Selassie from Haile Selassie sent delegate to the 1920 and 21 convention of the UNIA in America and send money and send land grant. That's what Tafari did from 1920 and 21. I was in communication.
I always highlight this fact because some people like to paint Haile Selassie as a wagonist to the Pan-African movement, and I always cite the young Tafari work supporting the UNIA in the 20s when Nkrumah and all of these African fathers were children, you know what I mean? So
yeah, James. Yes, sir.
Yes. But
so now Marcus Garvey was isolated, and a certain number of leaders, you know some of them, T. Ras Makonnen was one. You know him?
From Guyana.
Guyana UNIA man who take on Ras Makonnen of the name of Haile Selassie father. And 4 more leaders were carried and introduced to Haile Selassie in London. Marcus Garvey was deliberately isolated over there. Divide and rule is a pass. The British are past masters at the game of divide and rule, but Haile Selassie is past master at the game of chess.
The year is 1892, and the land of Ethiopia has been experiencing 4 years of terrible famine and drought. They call it the Kikuken, or the evil days. At least 1/3 of the human population and 90% of the cattle have died. The hyenas have feasted on so many carcasses that they have become overweight and barely able to move. Just when the people could take no more of the evil days, a woman named Wasiro Yeshimabet is giving birth in a place called Erjersa Gora. This is her 9th attempt to bring forth new life. Her previous 8 attempts only resulted in death. Will this child live? Thankfully, a healthy baby boy is born. His first cries are drowned by thunder and lightning flashes across the night sky. The heavens open up and torrential rain starts to fall. Ethiopia's drought is over, and the baby boy is given the name Tafari, meaning one to be feared or respected. Tafari's father, Ras Makonnen, is a very important man in 1892 Ethiopia. Although he is overjoyed at the birth of his newborn son, he cannot spend much time with him. Ras Makonnen is the governor of Harar and must get back to the famous walled city to deal with its affairs. Furthermore, he is the foreign minister of Ethiopia, and having traveled to different places in Europe, he is very aware of the material and military advances they have made and the looming threats they pose to his country. Ras Makonnen knows that the majority of Ethiopians have no idea what is coming, and that he has to work that much harder to secure the realm. Tafari would grow up to become the legendary emperor, Haile Selassie I. To understand his journey, we must first understand the Ethiopia that he was inheriting, and what it was like when he was born in 1892. Get your copy of Kwesi Bansu's book, Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1, The Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings, and increase your knowledge about the history, politics, and culture of Ethiopia in 1892, and how it connects to the rest of African and world history at the time. Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1 is available for purchase at www.bookmanexpress.pub. Please visit for more information.
Haile Selassie could have ruled without advice from anyone, because the
By
mandate
decree.
of
He could rule by decree.
but he chose not to. He chose to
First
modernize.
emperor to limit his own power. He's the first
Yes,
emperor
sir.
to limit
Yes,
his own
sir. And divest it. And
volition.
divest it. Yes, sir.
Yes,
With the
yes.
advice of Queen also.
Yes, Empress Many.
And so when he left Ethiopia and went into exile, you know where he went to spend his exile to gather the support?
Jerusalem first, and then
Yes,
to
only Jerusalem first and only. That's the only place he left for. And when he reached Jerusalem, which the British had since 1918, all of the native Jews, not the Jewish, the Jews, the Yemeni Jews, who is as darker and darker than you, Kwasi. Kwasi, the right pronunciation?
Yeah, Kwasi, yes.
Kwasi. The Yemenite Jews and the most of the Jews that was there from ever since, from before the time of Sheba, is darker skin than you. And all of them start to gather around Haile Selassie in 1936. And the mandate government of Britain got alarmed and said this man is going to come and take over Jerusalem. The history is there. I have the facts and documents.
Yeah,
and
man.
they begged him, because they will beg him to leave Jerusalem and offer, say, please come to England. If you stay at Jerusalem, you will take over Jerusalem. That is how Haile Selassie left Jerusalem.
Yes, because he was from the Solomonic throne. So they by right, you're here at your place.
Yes. And do you know the headquarters of the British Mandate government?
Yes.
You know what the government building did name in Jerusalem?
What was it named?
The King David Hotel.
Wow. Yes, I heard that name.
And it was it was like the White House complex. And Haile Selassie was given a suite in there, in the King David Hotel. And they asked him to leave there and go to England because I'm going to take over the whole place. That is a fact.
Yes.
And that is why I'm reading that. But he was playing chess. So he knew all along what would happen.
Yes.
When he reached England, and the plane and the boat landed at the sea coast, the boat train carried from the sea coast into London. The British king, they just dead. And the crown prince was to take over the throne of England. And the British realized now, say, there's no king in England, and this man coming here, and him is a danger. They separated the black militants in London, and they pick out 5 of the main ones, and the huge crowd at the train station where you say the crowd around and when they come down the gangplank. Remember those pictures where Haile Selassie come down the gangplank?
Yes, famous pictures.
The huge, and coming off of the train, the huge crowd in England and London, they separate 5 of the leaders of the black community and separate out Marcus Garvey out of those 5. Carry them into a railway car and introduce to Haile Selassie and isolate Marcus Garvey from Haile Selassie, who was in contact with Haile Selassie from Haile Selassie sent delegate to the 1920 and 21 convention of the UNIA in America and send money and send land grant. That's what Tafari did from 1920 and 21. I was in communication.
I always highlight this fact because some people like to paint Haile Selassie as a wagonist to the Pan-African movement, and I always cite the young Tafari work supporting the UNIA in the 20s when Nkrumah and all of these African fathers were children, you know what I mean? So
yes, sir.
Yes. But
so now Marcus Garvey was isolated, and a certain number of leaders, you know some of them, T. Ras Makonnen was one. You know him?
From Guyana.
Guyana UNIA man who take on Ras Makonnen of the name of Haile Selassie father. And 4 more leaders were carried and introduced to Haile Selassie in London. Marcus Garvey was deliberately isolated over there. Divide and rule is a pass. The British are past masters at the game of divide and rule, but Haile Selassie is past master at the game of chess.
Yes.
The game of chess is a territorial game. Most of the game I play on board, whether Lou the Snake and Ladder or Monopoly, is about territory. Board game is about territory and it's war games, tactical games. Anyway,
Hold on there. Stick a pin. I want the Lion Pride. Make sure you have your ital snacks. Make sure you prepare, you know. This is history. If you need a pen and paper, just use your pen and paper. We don't get to the birth yet, you know. Remember that. We just talk about, we're setting the context. We're setting the context. This is a historian of the magnitude we have not had on the channel. So continue, please.
Yes, sir. So in England now, 1936, Haile Selassie reached there. They isolate Marcus Garvey from him. Marcus Garvey got disgruntled because he tried to contact Haile Selassie by telegram in London.
Okay.
No, you know that is only because social media now. Because remember, it's over 2 months now. You and me are trying to get in contact, you know. and if the certain forces can prevent us getting in contact and linking up, they do so.
Yes.
It's only because we determine, like you said, the lion is telling the lion story now.
That is important. And this is going to be my family here. We're going to get to that part too. He's going to be a regular contributor on this platform. I want the people to know this is just the beginning.
That will be my privilege.
Yeah, man. Because there's too much history, but continue.
Yeah, so Marcus Garvey sent telegram to Haile Selassie about 3 times. Do you know the agents in America that deliver mail?
Yes.
Federally?
The USPS, United States Postal Service.
Yes, sir. US Mail.
Yes.
And that is why it was Marcus Garvey. It was to trap Marcus Garvey and the UNIA that the American government realized we cannot trap him with state law. We have to trap him with federal law. Yes. And that is how they contrive. That is how the FBI was born, you know.
Yeah, man. J. Edgar Hoover, the first black agent was hired to take down Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Yeah, was sent into the organization and attained high posts. And it is a federal charge. Remember, it's yesterday that it has been exonerated, you know.
It was not exonerated. It was pardoned. It was pardoned. It's not exonerated. So we fight to go because he was
thanks for that. Thanks for that, learned counsel. Yes. You know, we have to yield to the trained professional.
Yes.
People that are trained in certain fields, we do acknowledge their authority, speaking of the authority. Yes. So here it is now. Marcus Garvey, in America, it is the federal mail, the US mail that deliver things interstate. Yes. In England, it is the Royal Mail.
Okay.
Do you expect the Royal Mail to carry a telegram from Marcus Garvey to Haile Selassie in London after the royal government tried to prevent them from meeting in London?
No.
So all of these telegrams was not delivered to Haile Selassie. And Marcus Garvey, having been frustrated in Jamaica, in America first, put in prison, then deported to Jamaica, then rise up the first modern political movement in Jamaica, and then in prison immediately. Property of the organization taken away, private property of Marcus Garvey taken away, property of his wife taken away. Marcus Garvey was broken by 1935 and left Jamaica, gone in exile in England. And when him can't get in contact with Haile Selassie, him get frustrated and make some misjudgment. I love Marcus Garvey up to now.
Yes.
But he make misjudgment like what anyone.
Yo. I'm here writing all these model scrolls. Has a redemption for bloodshed on Sodom Road. Stories of trigger happy now to shot all of his foes. This is the outcome of 500 years down here in the West. Mothers forced to manual labor with no rest. The cost of living in the West is leaving us penniless. Loudly I hear the cries of my peoples being released out the cages of desert eagles, leaving the victim garment see-through. If you overstand the level, he who feels it knows the down pressure of the devil. Cross the Pope in the fire, Gideon black rebels. My sword is my word manifested in flesh. Blessed to get it used for homeless with a place to rest. Selassie say clothes the naked, shelter for the shelterless. Babylon you can't govern because your heart is too dirty. Behold the lion of Judah, he get loaned is worthy.
So heal his majesty. Heal him, King of glory. Heal him, might of the Trinity. Rastafari crown every African free. So heal his majesty. Heal him, King of glory. Heal him, might of the the Trinity, Rastafari crown every African free. I'm Bessa, trample the down presser. Work for the youths, the mothers, the ancestors. Bad situation must get better. Weak by ourselves, but we must stand together. Stop eating deaders, grow out your dreaders. You need your locks like the chicken needs its feathers. Chant forever, the king reigns forever. Don't get caught in the Babylon pleasure. Watch the flames get redder, chains get scarcer. Lock down the planes and you're stuck in the area. When Wall Street crashed, the foolish passed. The wise man up in the hills with his store to last. There's more to grasp in this life than just whores with ass. Stores of cash and you blinking when the poor man passed. It's never too small to share, food or gear. I'm a Gideon, are you prepared? I move to kick and I move to snare. Two things that don't move me is doubt and fear. Why? Cause the great king is everywhere. In water and land, in man and air. So
hail him, hail his majesty. Hail him, king of glory. Hail him, might of the Trinity. Rastafari crown every African priest. Hail him, hail his majesty. Hail him, king of glory. Hail him, might of the Trinity. Rastafari crown every African priest. Inequality, so while you pagan talk, it don't bother me. Come follow me to the promised land. Hail the Almighty in a man.